Welcome to Mysteries and Legends, where the unexplained meets the unforgettable. I'm your host, Don from Investigation 13. Join me on a journey into the unknown, where we'll explore the strange, the bizarre, and the inexplicable. From ghostly encounters to cryptic legends, we'll dive into the stories that will leave you questioning what's real and what's just beyond the veil. From ghostly encounters to unexplained mysteries, we'll explore the most bizarre events from around the world.
Welcome to Mysteries and Legends, where the unexplained meets the unforgettable. Unforgettable. I'm your host, Don from Investigation 13. Join me on a journey into the unknown. We'll explore the strange, the bizarre, and the inexplicable. From ghostly encounters to cryptic legends, we'll dive into the stories that will leave you questioning what's real and what's just beyond the veil. From ghostly encounters to unexplained mysteries, we'll explore the most bizarre events from around the world. Yeah.
March 5, 2024, 10:45 p.m. The snowflakes gently fell onto the grounds of Hamilton Cemetery, casting a serene silence over the rows of tombstones. The cold air was crisp, and the only sound was the soft crunch of snow beneath their feet. Dom from Investigation 13 and Sean from Herbaxium trudged through the knee-deep snow, their flashlights casting eerie shadows on the ground. They had been investigating this cemetery for hours, and so far, they had captured some compelling evidence. As they approached the mass grave section, Dom pulled out the skull REM pod, a device designed to detect and capture audio evidence of paranormal activity. He placed it on a tombstone, adjusting the settings. The tombstone was old and weathered, with intricate carvings of angels and skulls. This is Dom from Investigation 13, and I'm investigating the Hamilton Cemetery with Sean from Herbaxium. We're currently at the mass grave section, and I'm setting up the skull REM pod, Dom said into his recorder. It's March 5, 2024, and the time is 11:04 p.m. The weather is cold, with light snowfall. We're experiencing some strange readings, and I'm hoping to capture some evidence of paranormal activity. Sean nodded, his eyes scanning the area. I'm getting some weird readings on my EMF meter. It's spiking up and down like crazy. I've also got some temperature fluctuations on my thermometer. It's dropping and rising rapidly. Suddenly, a faint whisper echoed through the air. Get out, while you still can. The voice was raspy and menacing, sending chills down their spines. Dom and Sean exchanged a nervous glance. Did you hear that? Dom whispered, his voice barely audible. Sean nodded, his eyes fixed on the surrounding area. Yeah, I heard it. Let's try to get some evidence. As they continued to investigate, the paranormal activity intensified. The wind picked up, and the snowflakes began to swirl around them. Dom's recorder captured strange, disembodied whispers and moans. Sean's camera caught orbs and strange, unexplained movements. Suddenly, the skull REM pod on the tombstone began to beep erratically. Dom's eyes widened as the device suddenly lifted off the tombstone and flew through the air, landing with a thud in the snow. What the? Dom exclaimed, rushing to retrieve the device. It looks like something doesn't want us here. Sean's voice was low and serious. I think we're dealing with a malevolent spirit. Let's review the evidence and see if we can identify who's haunting this place. As they reviewed their footage and audio, they discovered a surprising amount of evidence. They captured a shadowy figure, disembodied voices, and unexplained movements. One of the voices they captured was particularly clear, saying, "Elizabeth, forgive me." Dom's eyes lit up. I think we've got a spirit ID. Let's look up the grave records and see if we can find an Elizabeth. Their research revealed that Elizabeth was a young woman who had died in the late 1800s. According to local legend, she had been wronged by a man named Malcolm, who was buried in the same cemetery. The story went that Elizabeth had been promised marriage, but Malcolm had broken his promise and married another woman. Elizabeth's heartbreak had been so severe that she had died soon after. As they continued to investigate, they noticed that the paranormal activity seemed to be centered around Malcolm's grave. The wind would pick up, and the snow would swirl around the tombstone. Dom's recorder captured more whispers, and Sean's camera caught images of a shadowy figure lurking in the background. Dom's voice was barely above a whisper. "I think we've stirred up something we shouldn't have. Let's try to communicate with the spirit." Sean nodded, pulling out a small notebook. "I'll try to ask some questions. Let's see if we can get any responses." Sean began to ask questions, and Dom monitored the equipment for any responses. Suddenly, the skull REM pod began to beep again, and a loud, raspy voice echoed through the air. "I'll never forgive him," the voice growled. Dom's eyes locked onto the tombstone. "I think we've got a response. Let's see if we can get more evidence." As they continued to investigate, the paranormal activity intensified. The wind howled, and the snow fell heavily. Dom and Sean captured evidence of unexplained movements, disembodied voices, and strange apparitions. At one point, Sean's camera caught an image of a woman in a long, white dress, standing behind Malcolm's tombstone. Dom's eyes widened as he reviewed the footage. "Did you see that?" Dom asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Sean nodded, his eyes fixed on the camera screen. "Yeah, I saw it. I think we've got evidence of Elizabeth's spirit." As the night wore on, they began to feel a sense of unease. The cemetery seemed to be growing darker, and the shadows seemed to be moving of their own accord. Dom and Sean knew they had to be careful. They didn't want to provoke the spirits any further. Finally, as the first light of dawn began to creep over the horizon, Dom and Sean decided it was time to leave. They packed up their equipment and left the cemetery, the snow-covered tombstones looming behind them like sentinels. As they walked away from the cemetery, the darkness seemed to swallow everything behind them, leaving only the faint whisper of a warning, "You shouldn't have come here." Dom turned to Sean, his voice barely above a whisper. "I think we've got enough evidence for a lifetime. Let's get out of here before things get worse." Sean nodded in agreement. "Yeah, I think you're right. Let's get to work on editing the footage and preparing it for a release." As they worked, the snow continued to fall outside, casting a serene silence over the city. But Dom and Sean knew that the silence was just an illusion, a thin veil that hid the secrets and mysteries that lay beneath. The investigation at Hamilton Cemetery would be just the beginning, a doorway to a world of paranormal activity that would change their lives forever. And as they worked, they couldn't help but wonder what other secrets lay hidden, waiting to be uncovered. Hours turned into days, and days turned into weeks. Dom and Sean worked tirelessly to edit their footage and prepared for a release. They knew that they had captured something significant, something that would spark debate and discussion among paranormal enthusiasts. Finally, the day arrived when they were ready to release their evidence. They uploaded their footage to YouTube and waited anxiously for the response. The response was overwhelming. Thousands of people viewed their footage, and hundreds left comments. Some were skeptical, while others were convinced that they had captured evidence of paranormal activity. Dom and Sean watched as the comments rolled in, their eyes scanning the screen. They knew that they had sparked a debate that would rage on for weeks and months to come. "I think we've got a hit," Dom said, a smile spreading across his face. Sean nodded in agreement. "Yeah, I think you're right. We've got a lot of people talking." As they watched, the comments continued to roll in. Some people were angry, claiming that they had faked the evidence. Others were excited, thanking them for sharing their experience. Dom and Sean knew that they had done something significant. They had captured evidence of paranormal activity, and they had sparked a debate that would rage on for years to come. And as they sat back, watching the comments roll in, they knew that their investigation at Hamilton Cemetery was just the beginning. They would continue to investigate, to explore the mysteries of the paranormal, and to share their findings with the world. The darkness seemed to recede, replaced by the cold, harsh light of reality. Dom and Sean knew that they had captured something significant, something that would change their lives forever. And as they sat back, watching the comments roll in, they knew that they were just getting started.